yacadharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine stavakaya cadharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avataravarishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic, spiritual path shown by Sri Ramakrishna. If you meditate on Sri Ramakrishna's masterly life and masterly practice, you will come to know immediately that Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is a path. Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is the spiritual path given to us. From the beginning of his life on this earth till the end, how Sri Ramakrishna conducted himself. If you follow his life and teachings, then you will reach the goal undoubtedly. All your doubts will be vanished. Your spiritual fervor will be intact and you will be able to follow spiritual path. The point is, we should very definitely set our ideal. The spiritual path becomes relevant only if you are earnest in your spiritual goal. If you are aspiring for spiritual goal, then here is the spiritual path. So it is connected that way. In order to have the spiritual ideal, you must have a good format. And you must be earnest in doing the things. That means you must be practical when you come to spiritual life. Not simply idealizing or simply theorizing. You must be intensely practical if you have to format your life in a spiritual way. That means when you are in full bloom of energy and vigor, it is very important to give right direction. Spiritual path is the right direction. That should be taken at the time when it is very important to decide upon. There is no question of postponing the time. There is no question of telling, let me take up spiritual path after some time. That will not work. There is a very good incident in Swami Vivekananda's life. Swamiji was wandering all over the places in India, and he became acquainted with varieties of people of different temperaments, different attitudes, different approaches, different outlook on life. But Swamiji was a source of inspiration to everyone. And one day he was giving instructions, and lots of people were there hearing him. One of them was an old man. He began to put number of questions. His whole mind was full of questions. Probably because of old age, he must have accumulated all the questions in his life. So as if he is giving shots, he is putting one after another questions to Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was a great person of spiritual eminence, a person of illumination, God on earth. Lord Shiva himself on earth is Swami Vivekananda. Lord Vishnu himself on earth is Sri Ramakrishna. Goddess Prosperity herself is Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi on this earth. What a tremendous combination. What a tremendous combination. But in order to understand them, you must have proper eyes. It requires a special eye. It requires purified eye to see, to grasp, to understand, to assimilate, to practice what these great personalities have shown us in their life and teachings. And lots of people were sitting there around Swamiji. Swamiji was not disturbed at all by questions. He was answering him very vividly and pointedly. And then he said, look, now you will get the real answer to your questions when you practice them. Practice at least a few instructions which I will give you now. Then you will see how all doubts simply melt away. And Swamiji, in course of his talks, he gave practical hints, practical ways of conducting oneself. But then, as long as Swamiji stayed in that place, that old man used to come and keep on asking questions. Swamiji came to know that he was not practicing anything, whatever he had told him, and just he was simply coming and talking. Swamiji never liked it. So he wanted to teach this old man a lesson in a different way. When the man came next time, Swamiji never looked at him. He never greeted him. He never took notice of his presence there. Just he was talking to the devotees or people who were there. His attention was all upon them, excluding this particular person. In spite of it, he began to come again and again. But Swamiji, once he had decided, he was very firm. He just ignored him totally. And that person became disgusted. And next time he never came. And the others who were coming all the time, they asked Swamiji, Swamiji, what's the matter? Previously used to talk and answer his questions and so on, but finally you stopped even looking at him, let alone talking. What's the idea behind this attitude? Then Swamiji smiled and said, that smiling had a wonderful meaning. He said, well, I thought probably this man has got little worth. Little. Maybe even 1% worth is enough. It could work. But I found this man was not even 1% worth. Whatever the instructions I have given pointedly to him, he just never gave any attention to those things and simply was coming and wasting the time, simply asking questions. Of course, what is there in him? He has lost all vigor. He has become very old. Nerves have become weak. Blood has lost its power. And he cannot concentrate or sit for a moment. So he is in that terrible state. How can he do any spiritual practice? And so nothing could be done. That means when you have got energy and vigor, if you are not doing, how can you expect to do when you have lost vigor and energy? So here comes Sri Ramakrishna's most valuable way of life. How he, during his prime stage of his life, utilized his whole life for the spiritual quest. He just from the beginning, his goal was to reach God, to see God, to talk to Him, to know the truth. He wanted to realize the truth. He wanted to utilize all the time in order to do that. And as I said, the formation, the spiritual formation of his life started from his boyhood. He came in contact with holy people and he used to hear many spiritual ideas from the scriptures, and these holy people would keep telling, and this boy absorbed all those teachings and he became really very serious about achieving the result. That means, what should be done now? He has tasted the glory of holy company. He has got spiritual ideas. He came to know what is the essence of all the scriptures, and now the time has come for him to practice. That means effort, purusha prayatna. You have to make your effort. Then only you will understand, or then only you will taste divine grace. So he began to discriminate. Well, people are running, morning to evening, movement, hectic movement, running and running. What for they are running? Should I have to run like them? Should I have to seek my bread like those people? Should I have to utilize all my energy in just acquiring that? No. The meaning of life is lost if you are not aspiring to realize God. Whatever name and position you might have acquired in course of your life, it is a big zero if you have not aspired for realization of the truth. So, you are not able to achieve freedom. You are in bondage as long as you have not realized the truth. As long as you have not seen God, you are in bondage. That means you will be suffering in one way or other. If you have to have the real peace of mind, real joy, you have to realize God. So then he decided, well, I should not run like these people running. No. I must choose the spiritual path, not this ordinary path where all people are running after. If I have to run, I run after God. Well, certainly I run to see God. So, the decision making, that's very crucial. Nobody even think of that. They think, who is to decide? Like that they begin to ask questions. You have to decide yourself. Each one is responsible for one's own destiny. If you have to see God, you have to practice, is it not? If I do practice, what does it matter to you? It may help you, it may inspire you, but you have to practice yourself. So, the point is this, that you have to aspire very strongly, and you must be very earnest in your approach. So, decision making, at the time when your body is in good shape, at the time when your mind is in good shape, when you have good body and good mind, when you are healthy, that's the time to take decision. It's just like you are deciding what course should I take after intermediate college. Students go for selecting the subjects. What should I want to be? Should I be a doctor? Should I be an engineer? Etc. In the same way, you have to decide in the beginning itself. So, Sri Ramakrishna decided, I must see God in this very life. And his brother Ramkumar tried his best to see Sri Ramakrishna goes to school and conducts himself in a way how people normally do. But Sri Ramakrishna's interest was not in that secular way of life, and he was not interested at all in that life. He was deeply interested in the spiritual path. So, the very important thing that we should note is that you must decide decisively, not half-heartedly. Half-hearted decision will not work. That's the problem. In spirituality, everything must be done in a proper way. If there is any defect somewhere, it won't work. It fails to work. So Sri Ramakrishna has shown in the beginning itself the spiritual path that one should decide that one should see God in this very life. And then formation of life, the discipline, the purity, maintaining your attitude, your spiritual aptitude, they are all very important. And then what we find in Sri Ramakrishna's life is the first priority was to see God. So our preference should be to see God first, not the other way. Let me enjoy the world first, afterwards time will come when I turn myself to God. No, that's a wrong way. It won't turn at all, I should say. So, one should be earnest, and one should set the goal. One should have a good format, and now one should start doing spiritual practice with all seriousness. Follow the instructions very clearly. Don't neglect. Develop the taste of loving God. Once you taste that love of God, then your life will progress immensely in that direction. And Sri Ramakrishna began to practice. And he became the priest of Kali temple. He had to worship the image of Kali, the Divine Mother. Of course, the whole Bengal They are well acquainted with mother worship. It's very easy for them. So Sri Ramakrishna had all that qualities. And he was feeling so free to go to mother. He himself has said in the teachings, it's easy to approach mother than father. So to see God, he approached God as mother, so that he can see God more quickly. And mother is always gracious towards the child. My child is calling me. It wants to come near me. It is coming near me. So it is just, the child is crawling, smiling. Even just it looking at the mother and started to crawl towards the mother, that's enough. Mother could not control herself. She rushes and takes the baby in her arms and hugs it, loves it immensely. And the child also feels ecstatic. Same way here also. Sri Ramakrishna had that same approach. I am the child of the mother. What a grand attitude. What a grand approach. If you have the attitude of a child, first of all you must know the qualities of the child, how the child should behave. In the same way, if you act upon, then God simply runs towards you. Runs. That's the meaning of Sri Ramakrishna telling, if you approach one step towards God, God comes to you towards you 9 steps or 10 steps. He comes faster than your movement. That's the meaning here. So, when he took up the attitude, I am the child, Divine Mother, I have to see her. I have not seen her for a long time. I must see her. So, he was becoming restless in order to see God. People are restless for many things. People are restless for earning money. People are restless for making properties. People are restless for hurting other people. They use that quality of restlessness in all wrong ways. But here is a person. Use that restlessness in a right way. That is, be restless to see God. What a fine approach. He became so restless, that means his mind was fully occupied with the idea of Mother, Divine Mother. The mind was saturated with the idea of Divine Mother. He would go and sit in Panchavati and sit in meditation for long hours. Deeply he was focusing. And when the day was closed, then Swamiji, then Sri Ramakrishna would say, one day is gone, yet I have not seen Mother. Second day is gone, yet I have not seen Mother. And in how many ways he approached Mother. Whenever he would go and offer worship to Mother Kali, he would sing a bhajan. His day would start with singing a bhajan, by singing a bhajan. It has got great value. See, when you sing, your emotion is raised. You, for the time being, somehow try to have the glimpse of that joy. If you absorb yourself in doing bhajan, that gives tremendous spiritual inspiration, and you'll be appealing to God really by singing the glory of God. And Sri Ramakrishna would start every time, anybody, even when Swami Vivekananda came and visited him, he would ask him, the very first thing he would say was, please sing a bhajan. If some devotee comes, please sing a song. Sing a song on Mother. So, it's just to kindle, to reawaken your spiritual fervor. So Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna, how he has shown even the minutest things in our spiritual path. Everything is important here. That's what I am telling. Many times we think, I have received initiation, that's all. What about your prayers? What about your doing service? What about your spiritual activities? Everything must be connected. In fact, the idea of building the chapel and building the ashram, building the temple is that people cannot practice prayers and devotional practices in the homes. They can do it here very easily. Everything is provided, but still mind is so deceiving. If you come here, you think of home. If you go home, you think of here. Mind simply plays. So attending arati, participating in prayers is a very important spiritual discipline, which is keeping you in your spiritual track. So Sri Ramakrishna always would sing a song. Turn the gospel, any page, there is one song. So he would pray in different ways. And as I said, he adopted the attitude of a child. In that attitude, your ego is non-existent. You are humbler than the humblest. If you behave like a child, you will be loved by God immediately. Because God loves the one who is most humble. And here is a person, Sri Ramakrishna, who practiced it. And the stage was set. He surrendered himself totally to Divine Mother. Mother, everything of this personality, pointing to himself, Sri Ramakrishna said, belongs to you. Everything, every bit of it belongs to you. I have surrendered totally to yourself. That means his mind, intellect, energy, vigor, everything is given to Mother. He wants nothing but Mother. He wants the vision of Mother. That's all. He doesn't want anything of this world. He doesn't want to enjoy the world. The moment the mind turns towards the enjoyment of the world or towards enjoying the pleasures of the world, that means you are not able to turn your mind to God. If your mind really turns towards God, then you don't like to go in for such pleasures of the world. So, the mind was totally free from all those samskaras which take the mind away from God. And here is a person whose mind was totally towards God. Because his life itself was formatted from the beginning in that fashion. The parents were very devoted. Sri Ramakrishna's father, extremely devoted. And he used to offer worship every day in his home. And he was blessed with Sri Ramachandra. He told him when he was taking rest under a tree, well, I want to come to your home, please take me and offer me worship. He was startled. And he got that Raghuvir Salagram, and even now you can see that when you go there to Kamarpukur, that Salagram was being worshipped. And Kshudiram, the father of Sri Ramakrishna, and Chandramani, the mother of Sri Ramakrishna, she was also very great. Every day she would see visions of God. Gods and goddesses would come. Just like we see human beings, she would see gods and goddesses every day. So it was not a myth. People keep on asking, are they real? They think that human beings are the only real beings on this universe. Everything else is false. That's how people think. So, and Chandramani is seeing Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Saraswati, everybody, all gods and goddesses. And Sri Ramakrishna himself tells, I have seen many gods and goddesses. Among them, the goddess Rajarajeshwari was most beautiful among the goddesses. Like that Sri Ramakrishna tells. So, the universe has got so many things to reveal. And Sri Ramakrishna was born of them. So, from the beginning, his mind was totally set and began to devote his whole time to see the Divine Mother. So, he told the mother, Mother, I am your child. Please reveal yourself to me. When he said that, he literally followed. He looked upon all the women in this universe, all the female species, as the embodiments of the Divine Mother herself. So, because he was in that tremendous state of the attitude of a child, there was no trace of lust in him. That's why later on Sri Ramakrishna tells, in order to see God, you must take the mind away from lustful thinking, and you must be totally free from greed, lobh, and then you'll be able to enjoy the taste of God. Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna was meditating and praying. He did for months and years. Months and years. Because of his spiritual practices, his whole body was shining like a gold. And people would be very wonderstruck to see him. What a beautiful form Sri Ramakrishna had. And finally, his intensity was so high, maximum intensity. He could not tolerate any delay anymore. He has said, well, I have not yet realized God in spite of intense practices. He was in that tremendous state of restlessness. And he thought, probably I should not live any longer if Mother is not revealing herself to me. When that thought was in his mind, he looked at the sword which was kept by the side of the Divine Mother, and he just looked at the sword, and before anything else could happen, immediately the Mother revealed herself to Sri Ramakrishna. The whole temple was filled with light, divine light. So he was swimming in the ocean of light. Sri Ramakrishna went into ecstasy. He was in samadhi. And that was the beginning of the taste of spiritual joy. It's unparalleled, Sri Ramakrishna says. This vision gave me the realization of the truth. And because he had the attitude of a child, and God was being looked upon as Mother, Mother herself arranged everything for him. All the teachers, competent teachers of the time, would come to him to instruct him in particular discipline. And Sri Ramakrishna, every time when he practiced other religions, he would take the permission from the Divine Mother. He was so free to talk to her, and he would take the permission and then start doing spiritual practices, and he would realize it. So then he practiced it and realized it, and then he said, well, all religions lead to the same goal. What is needed is spiritual practice. So don't waste time in simply talking about not doing anything. On the other hand, doing something is better than doing nothing. So you have to definitely put your effort to see God in this very life. So Sri Ramakrishna has shown the path very clearly, and he has authenticated all the different paths, the spiritual paths. And he said what is needed is choose one path and follow it up steadfastly. You must be steady in your practice. Steadiness is important. If you are unsteady, it won't work. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of persons digging the well. Some persons were trying to dig the well in a field. As soon as they got a stone while digging, they would stop and go to another place to dig. They kept on digging so many places, they could not get water because they would not continue in the same place. They were so unsteady, so they could not get the result. So you have to be very steady in your pursuit, and then you will certainly see God. And it is possible to see God, and it is possible to realize the truth when you are on this earth. So what Shankaracharya has said, Jivan Mukti, achieving liberation while in this life itself. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And Sri Ramakrishna has shown the way. And not only that, he trained his disciples, and each one of them realized the truth. And that's the spiritual message we are getting now. And Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are well recorded in the Gospel, which class I am taking every Tuesday. And as I said, Sri Ramakrishna was the embodiment of purity and perfection. He practiced all the disciplines, and he would say the renunciation of lust and gold, that is what is needed. When once the mind is taken away from that, it becomes easy. Otherwise, spiritual path seems to be very difficult. It is appearing like difficult because of the mind not cooperating in your spiritual pursuit. That means you have to strengthen your willpower, you have to strengthen your spiritual mind. Everyone has that spiritual mind, but it is in a very, very dormant state. So you have to strengthen the spiritual mind. The spiritual mind must become strong enough to assert itself over the non-spiritual mind. Then everything becomes easy. So it depends upon what type of samskaras you are confronting with, because each one's mind is different. So accordingly, one has to do practices in order to control these samskaras, in order to have a good formation, and then he would be able to practice and see God. Practices earnestly, and as Sri Ramakrishna would feel this day is gone without seeing God. So you must ask yourself, a day is gone, how much I was spiritual, how much my mind was on God, how much my mind was on other things. But we generally see people take the spiritual path, no doubt, but they don't give required attention towards formatting their character. That means there must be some perceptible change in their qualities. That means one should be able to keep under control the mind. And what Sri Ramakrishna has said in the Gospel, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And these are all constantly bothering the mind, constantly bothering the people. Desires, anger, greed, egoism, hatred, jealousy. When you are constantly being bothered by these things, where is the time for you and where is the energy for you? All your energy is gone in tackling these problems. That's why Sri Ramakrishna compares them as alligators. Alligators. One alligator is enough to kill a person. 6 alligators are there. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. How you are constantly being pulled by desires and desires and desires. So, how difficult it is. So the religion is difficult because our mind is full of desires and you can't satisfy all the desires, and so you become frustrated. So you have to control yourself in the beginning, that desires are bothering me, so I should not have desires. Anger is bothering me, so I should not have anger. Jealousy is killing me, so I should not have jealousy. That's the way you should approach. But people, sometimes I heard people telling, oh Swamiji, I become angry, that's my nature, what can I do? If you put a label like that, that means you have to accept, oh, that you will become angry and you must keep quiet. Is that the way? By showing your temper, that means you are activating it more. Next time you become much more worse. So you are growing from bad to worse. So you are not eliminating it. On the other hand, you are nourishing it. Same way the other qualities also, jealousy, hatred. The more and more you think of it, the more you become worse. So that's not the way. You have to cut them in the beginning itself. Nip in the bud, we say. Immediately you must discriminate. No, this should not. I am a person. I am practicing spiritual life. I shouldn't behave that way. Immediately you should correct it. The correcting attitude. If you have that correcting attitude, you are saved, I tell you. Definitely you are saved. God is always with you and He always protects you. But if you don't correct it, if you always keep on telling, that's my nature, and you'll be like that. If you say, I'm a papi, you will become. Papi means sinner. I'm a terrible sinner. But if you pray to God, I'm a terrible sinner, no doubt. Oh God, please help me, please protect me. He will protect you. But change your attitude immediately, change your pattern. So, effort is very important. That's what I told you in the beginning. And Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, the ingredients for preparing the food are brought and they are mixed properly, they are boiled properly, the food is prepared, it is served on the plate, and it is taken towards the mouth of the person. And he has to eat, is it not? Everything is done. But that fellow is not even putting the hand to take the food. That is too terrible, Sri Ramakrishna tells. So we are in that state. We don't do anything and we keep crying and crying. It's a futile crying. Even if you born 1,000,000 times, you will be crying only. But if you understand it properly, take any idea, whatever Sri Ramakrishna has said, and practice it humbly. Be sincere. That's what is important. Don't have any hypocrisy. So then you will see, and you will be overwhelmed by God's grace. You will be overwhelmed. And you feel so grateful. Oh God, such an insignificant creature I am. How much grace you are showing. And you feel that really. So, Sri Ramakrishna has followed the path of bhakti And he had followed the path of knowledge. He acquired Advaitic, non-dualistic experience. And in his action, karma, how he was very thorough in keeping things, in doing things. Extremely careful. 100%. A real karma yogi, see Sri Ramakrishna's life. How he would teach Holy Mother to do things. Everything was so precise, specific. And meditation, Siddha Purush. So all the yogas fully bloomed in one personality, that is Sri Ramakrishna. And you find the same personality reflected, that is Swami Vivekananda. And the embodiment of love and compassion, Divine Mother, Sri Sharda Devi. As I said in the beginning of my talk, Shiva, Vishnu, Shakti, all the three have come to lift us up from drowning ourselves in this world. We are killing ourselves by just running after the mind and the senses. And they have come to uplift us. They are giving their helping hand. Look, rise up, rise up. We help you, rise up. They are literally telling that. So, please read those life and teachings. And actually February, generally, February is a month when Sri Ramakrishna, February was the month when Sri Ramakrishna was born. But this time, because we follow the Hindu almanac, according to that, we celebrate Sri Ramakrishna's birthday in March. In 1836, he was born on February. That's the month. Well, Sri Ramakrishna has given nectar, ocean of nectar. Gospel is ocean of nectar. You take up according to your capacity, fill up your pitcher and enjoy the nectar. Path is shown very clearly, ideal is given, everything is open, no hide, no secret cultism, no cult business when you come to Sri Ramakrishna. Everything is open, straightforward. That is Sri Ramakrishna. So, you are all blessed, you have come to Sri Ramakrishna. Every day should be meaningful. It becomes meaningful if you are having spiritual attitude, and if you have spiritual approach, and if you have spiritual orientation, then every day becomes meaningful and fruitful. Then you become blessed. With these words, I conclude my talk. Thank you very much. Source of Life. Every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., we have Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Every Friday, 7:30 p.m., Swami Chidananda will speak on Katha Upanishad. We have Sri Ramnam Sankirtanam on Saturday, February 12th, evening, after Arati at 6 p.m. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Divine Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.